Hello, and welcome to today's episode of Small's Talk, the show about everything happening at Mr. Small's Theater, Funhouse, Cafe, and beyond. On today's show, we're happy to feature an interview with Pittsburgh band Yaro and the Static, with a live performance filmed at their June 1st show in the Funhouse. We're also going to rewind to share some unreleased past interview footage with Between the Buried and Me from the 2017 show at Mr. Small's Theater. But first, we're going to give you a rundown of our upcoming shows. Thursday, June 27th. Mr. Smalls presents Chicago jazz fusion band Marvin at the Funhouse at Mr. Smalls. Doors open at 7, show starts at 8. Friday, June 28th. The Consortium and Mr. Smalls presents DRESSY, BESSY, POTTY Mouth, and COLLEEN Green at the Funhouse at Mr. Smalls. Doors open at 8, show starts at 8:30. Friday, June 28th. Opus 1 presents Harkin's Help Me I'm Alive album release show at Mr. Smalls Theater with Pet Clinic, Calyx, Derider, and DJ Sykes. Show starts at 7 o'clock. Saturday, June 29th. Mr. Smalls presents the METAL-IMMORTAL Festival at Mr. Smalls Theater, featuring Razor, Night Demon, Lady Beast, and many more. Doors open at 4 o'clock, show starts at 5. Sunday, June 30th. Mr. Smalls presents Mineka at the Funhouse at Mr. Smalls, touring off the release of their new album, Never Nowhere, out on Exploding in Sound Records on July 26th. They'll be joined by Sunny Falls and locals The Zells and Swamp Walk. Doors open at 7, show starts at 8. Saturday, July 6th. Mr. Smalls presents Stack Like Pancakes album release tour at the Funhouse at Mr. Smalls with Kawano Sour and Solios. This is the first Solios show in 3 years, so be sure to catch them on their return. Doors open at 7, show starts at 7:30. Saturday, July 6th. Opus 1 presents the OUTLAW HIPPIE Showdown, featuring Garage Space, Bad Friend Ben, Playgrounds, and Day Shift at Mr. Smalls Theater. Doors open at 7, show starts at 8 o'clock. Wednesday, July 10th. The Consortium and Mr. Smalls presents Seb Elzine with Ishtar and 8 Cylinder at the Funhouse at Mr. Smalls. Doors open at 8 p.m., show starts at 8:30. That's everything we have for the next 2 weeks. Tickets are available to purchase without the service fees at Mr. Smalls' daytime box office, Monday through Friday, 12 to 5. And remember to come check out our Acoustic Cafe open mic every Monday in the Funhouse. Sign-ups start at 6 o'clock.
My name is Eli Yaro.
I'm Aiden Simmons.
And I'm Colin Frink.
And we are Yaro and the Static.
So be with me tonight. Be with me.
For the album we made, it started about a year and a half ago. I met this person named Joseph Carringer at a recording camp at Mr. Smalls recording studio. And Joseph and I, we kind of clicked. I had written a song called In the Middle, which is on the album, and I was playing it, and he heard it, and he's like, yo, what's that song? And when I played it for him again, it's like, guys, we gotta record this. We went right to the recording booth, and we recorded that, and Colin played acoustic bass on that
Yeah,
track.
the
It didn't
original.
end up on the album. We retracked everything, but we got the idea there. And that idea and that vibe, we all just kind of dug it, and we knew that we wanted to keep doing more.
Started like the first recording we did was the first half was the acoustic, and then we had like it was a separate song where we went into a faster paced electric version, and then we sort of just turned it into the one song too instead of just splitting it into two.
Because we thought that on stage it would make a really cool thing where we could play a fully soft song, and then still using the same lyrics, kind of turn those lyrics. Like for the first time, the lyrics are kind of explaining someone who's trying to get above this recent loss, but then the second one they're getting angry and know that they can be more than this whole loss. And so after that recording session, Joseph and I kept in touch, and we took 2 weekends in Dara, PA, and Colin came and we recorded for 2 weekends there, playing all the songs, writing, and helping this whole album come to like reality. And eventually Joseph and I, we mixed and mastered it for about 6 months before it actually was released. It took a while to get that, but it's finally here. We're really proud of it. My first time doing the real life music camp, it was really an eye-opening experience because I had never been in a studio before, like a real studio, and it made me realize that music can be more than just playing guitar in your bedroom. It can be this whole new experience and this whole new, like, hearing your song out loud is amazing, and it's given me a drive to create more songs and given me a drive to play. And I found COLLEEN at Real Life Music Camp 2 summers ago, and without that, we wouldn't be here right now. How about you, COLLEEN?
So, the first year I did it was 2, coming up on 3 years ago now, and it was really my first time playing with an actual group outside of like the school jazz band or something. But just when we first got started, it was just me, Eli, and we had another drummer too. But we didn't have a guitarist either. So when my first experience trying to actually play with a band, I was trying to cover both the bass line and the melodic part to it. So that sort of influenced a lot of the way I've learned to play now too, with mixing in a lot of chords and stuff. And it's just sort of influenced my style, I guess. And it was my first introduction to like an actual recording studio and music technology, and helped me to get my passion for that as well.
We released the music video for Mockingbirds Can't Be Doves. I think it was because it was one of those songs that it only took like 2 or 3 takes to put it down, because there was something about the magic of that song. And it's kind of high, but you can hear some like lows. It's one of my favorite lyrics that I've ever written because it tells a story from beginning to end. And I felt that that song could be portrayed in a music video really well. So what we did was it was probably like 10 or 11 at night, and we had just had a full 8 hours of recording, and you said, you know what? Let's just go outside and shoot a music video. And
That's how you gotta do it.
So we spent like 2 hours doing it outside. It was freezing. It was like 25 degrees out that day. So we'd go out 25 minutes and then we'd go back in. And we'd go out 25 minutes and come back in. And you can probably see in the music video how cold I was. But it was such a cool experience to do, because when you can provide like a visual element that kind of helps the whole song take flight. It's really a cool experience.
I really like playing in the middle because it's like the soft and then fast thing, and then Marvin, his crazy drum solo and that's one of the most fun in my opinion, because I feel like the crowd's feeling it, we're feeling it. It's just good energy. My second favorite is Aria, which we closed with tonight. That one is just if you saw me on stage, I was like really getting into it, and it's just I feel that song a lot, and it's just got really a good groove and power to it.
Things aren't always what they seem. You can never just be yourself now.
The energy of this stage and all the people in the audience, and just playing and knowing that everyone in the audience was just having a blast, and that we were having a blast, and it just kind of made this really awesome like vibe of this whole place, and it was really crazy.
Why are we here? Oh, just to suffer. And are we just born in the game of crooked life? Show you who you really are. How you know you'll never be stronger now. And a baby girl with scars. Oh, you see, the last time I saw her lying on a hospital bed. Looking back now, what would I have said? It makes me wonder, it makes me laugh now. It makes me ponder what I have left now. Why are we here? Oh, just to suffer.
When I think of like advice for people transitioning to adulthood, I really have to always come back to the same thing. It's just like knowing that you are gonna mess up at some point, but the most important part is trying to figure out, okay, what did I do wrong, and how can I come back from that, learn from that, and become a better person. And I feel like that's one of the most important things, because like being able to like come back from something you did wrong and be stronger, it just makes you a better person as a whole, and it's a good learning experience, and you can be like, yeah, I did this, but what good came out of it, what bad came out of it, how do I make myself better, and it's just good to be able to know how to do that. That's like really the biggest advice I have.
Make sure to download A Letter to a Youthful Mind by Yaro and Static. It is out on all major streaming services, Spotify, Apple Music, Google Play,
Amazon
SoundCloud,
Music.
everything.
Even got SoundCloud.
Yeah, it's
That's
all
awesome.
premium. Yeah.
Whoa.
And all social media at Yaro and the Static. You can find our website, yaroandthestatic.com. Look up some more stuff, some interesting facts and things about the album. But make sure to follow us, subscribe to us on YouTube, and just really check out our music.
Of cooking lies. Thank you guys, we are Yaro and the Static.
Hey everybody, I'm Blake Richardson. I play drums in Between the Buried and Me. The band started in 2001 in the Charlotte area. I joined the band at the tail end of 2004. When I joined the band at that time, that was like my second opportunity. They had contacted me when I was in high school to play drums for them, and I was a little too scared to drop out of high school and start touring in a full-time band. So I went to NC State for a couple years and then joined up with them, and I was like, yeah, let's see how it goes. And then the rest is kind of history. We just been putting out records and touring ever since. I think collectively, a lot of the big influences for Between the Buried and Me are Opeth's definitely up there, which is really cool because we've gotten to tour with them a couple times. Pain of Salvation is up there. And these also are influences for me personally too. A lot of the old Dream Theater stuff, we're all collectively into King Crimson, Pink Floyd, things of that nature. If you're trying to get away from the heavy stuff. Meshuggah, me personally, I'm into a lot of film scores, virtuoso kind of drummers that don't really get a lot of notoriety, but I kind of cling to things that are very rhythmic in nature, so yeah, that's kind of my influences for sure. Between the Berenice's favorite tour was probably the Prog Nation tour we did with Dream Theater and Opeth. That was up there. 3 was on it as well. That was pretty cool. That was 2008. Kind of came full circle because we did the first show on that tour was just us and Dream Theater, and we were opening up for them in Mexico City. And Portnoy, who was playing drums for them at the time, was like, "Yo, we want you guys to open up for us in Mexico City. It's already a sold out gig." It was like at their Nashville Auditorium. It was like 10,000 people, so it was already the biggest show we probably ever played. And he was like, "Yeah, but you gotta play Colors all the way through." And so we're like, "All right, cool." So we had to rehearse that whole thing, and that was the first day of tour, so it was already hectic as all hell. And then we had to play to like 10,000 people, sold out. I think I looked out into the crowd probably like twice because it was just like this endless sea. It was like a theater setting, so it was just like this endless sea of people that all went all the way to the top. So it was just like, oh my God, too big. But yeah, it was fun. That was a really fun tour. We had a good time. A day in the life when we were on tour consists of waking up anywhere between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. And then we try to find the best coffee shop that is within a 2-mile radius. We go there and then come back, usually set up, sound check, and do all that stuff. I've been doing drum lessons on this tour, so I'll try and sneak in a couple drum lessons after a sound check, and then it's hurry up and wait after that. It's like there's stuff around, we'll go explore a little bit. So it depends. It varies from city to city. The bigger cities we're usually pretty busy with interviews and things of that nature. But I try and keep as busy as I can. I don't get to venture around Millville too much. We went like 3 blocks down to a coffee shop. Pittsburgh I have, like we'll go hang out there. We always go to Comanche Brothers and all that stuff. But yeah. But it's a cute town. I like it. I love playing Mr. Smalls. It was awesome. This is like, I just talked to a guy when I gave a lesson to a kid and his dad came and he was like, "Yeah, I got married here when it was a church back in 1987. I was like, "Yeah, it's got a cool history. Like, I just love the interior look of it and everything. We always like playing here. It's kind of like one of our staple, favorite venues for sure. We've played here a few times. I think the first time we played here was around 2006 we were opening up for the Dillinger Escape Plan. And then again, probably around 2009, we played with, that was the first time I had met the Job for Cowboy guys. They opened up that show. That was kind of crazy. And then, I think one other time, somewhere in there, we actually played with Opeth here, I think. It was like on an off day for that Prog Nation tour. We like playing in smaller venues, we always have. Like that. I think it's just, the kind of music that we play is more conducive to a room that is, 1,000 cap or lower. I think the bigger the venue, gets muddy and the sound just doesn't travel well. That was the only thing that was kind of weird about that Dream Theater tour that we did, is most of the venues were seated. So it was just kind of like, it was a weird vibe to see like 60-year-old couples right up front just looking at Tommy scream his lungs out. But you know, it was still a fun tour. Do we have any pre-show rituals? Tommy warms up his vocals for like 5 minutes. I probably do some doodling on a drum pad for at least 5 minutes. And the other guys, yeah, they do their typical, I don't know, whatever they do on the guitar. I don't know how you warm up on guitar, but I don't play guitar, so I don't know. Yeah, just your typical kind of everyday warm-up sort of situations. Just gotta go up there and have fun. Like we try not to make a big deal out of it. I always wanted to be involved in music somehow, one way or another, and it kind of just worked out for me. I feel like I've gotten really lucky. Like I got in with the band at the right time. It was a perfect opportunity, and it kind of worked itself out. I think my backup is I wanted to be a UPS truck driver. I think that's pretty sweet. And then also have, when I get back home, my wife runs a Pilates and Megaformer studio, and I just got certified in training some of that. So I'm gonna start teaching some classes when I get home. Some advice that we would give to kids starting out in music. I would try to learn as many different instruments as possible, or at least learn as many that you kind of appeal towards. One of my biggest regrets is not learning piano at a young age and not learning guitar at a young age. I feel like that's, especially piano, because that's very useful in the long term, because you can, if you have your roots seated in piano or things of that nature, you will better be able to speak the musical language the further you get into your career. Kids that are aspiring just to be musicians and have, you know, shoot for that dream. For one thing, stick with it. 2, have something. My thing is, there's this really cool interview with Mike Rowe, the Dirty Jobs guy. He has this interesting take on it where he says, you may be put in a situation where you may not be able to follow your passion, but you can always bring it with you. So if you're in a situation where being a musician is not going to pay the bills, that's fine. Like, that's totally cool. But that doesn't mean you have to stop being a musician or stop being a player. Like, and that's what I tell kids a lot. Like, there's no shame in doing something else in the meantime to make a living, but also play drums or piano or guitar at the same time, because you always have that musical outlet, you know, no matter what kind of setting you're in. But if being a full-time musician is your passion and that's what you want to go for the long haul, then pursue it. Just at any means that you can. Like, I feel like it's attainable. If I can do it, anyone can do it. The internet's role in the music industry, that's a catch-22, because in a lot of aspects it's helped our career, for sure. We have attained a much larger audience than we probably would have without the internet. I think that's a big part of it, and I think that goes the same with any band in general. It's so much easier to get your music accessible to anyone all over the world now, thanks to the internet. But as far as making a living off of, album sales or anything of that nature, that is not really an option as far as being a full-time musician goes. So really your main source of income is pretty much from touring or any sort of supplemental income that you have with it. So in a way it's kind of cool because it really filters out the people who really want it. The bands that are willing to tour and play for a live audience, like, those are the ones that are going to survive, because those are the ones who can make a living off what they do. The people that don't want to do that, no one's really buying records, so they're not really going to be able to make a living just off their music. So that's kind of what's cool about it. But hey, I love the internet. It changed the music industry forever, but I don't think it's necessarily in all bad ways. I think a lot of good has come from it. Message to our fans is thank you, and you are the reason why we get to do this for a living.